welcome to Cinema Bing Bong, the only podcast celebrating the birth of the Lord and Saviour of the Christian faith, Jesus Christ, on his special birthday. We're ding-donging merrily on high, we're decking the halls with boughs, etc. We've made the Yuletide gay. We've celebrated O Tannenbaum. We've put it up in the corner. It's making Raz sneeze quite badly. Do you have anything to add, Rebecca?
I was pretty surprised that you have revealed that we are the only podcast celebrating Christmas in the world.
I didn't say we were the only ones celebrating Christmas. I said that we were the only ones celebrating Jesus Christ on his birthday.
Okay.
Which I think is a subtle distinction. Well, look, I think we're getting back to the true meaning of Christmas.
As a people?
Us too.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's not necessarily something that we ascribe to in a traditional faith-based sense.
So are you saying that we strayed from God's light and now we're back?
Hello and welcome to Cinema Bing Bong. We strayed from God's light and now we're back with a Christmas special where me, Amelia Berry, and my wonderful co-host Raz K. Riley. It sounds weird. Rebecca K. I'll give you your proper name. Rebecca K. Riley. Full names for Christmas. Are going to talk about our favourite Christmas films. And the way that we've done this, Raz, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've given each other a beautiful Christmas gift, haven't we?
Oh, yes, very much.
A gift exchange where we've each given the other person.
It's not a white elephant.
It's not a white elephant. It's not a Secret Santa. Eyes wide open the whole time, looking ahead.
Eyes wide open.
Well, we're not covering Eyes Wide Shut. So, and we have gotten each other to watch our favourite Christmas movies that the other one hasn't seen. And I think it's... You know what? Thank you for your wonderful gift, Rebecca. It's enriched my heart.
You're welcome. Now I don't know what to call you now that you said that we're using full names for the Jesus podcast.
Yeah.
But you used my whole name and you just used your first and last name.
Oh, well, it's complicated, isn't it? I know so many people without proper middle names now. It's always embarrassing for me when you have to write out full name and suddenly mine's like 3 times as long.
Yeah, well, mine's very short.
And the most embarrassing part of it is that it's my own fault. I made it up.
Yeah, because I know. I didn't name myself.
No. What would you have gone for, Rez?
No, I would really need to think about that.
Okay. I think we should...
I told you not to... I told you that your name was bad.
Yeah, well, too bad.
And I was like, you can think of something else.
I walked into it eyes wide open. I think we should talk about our generalities about Christmas stuff later, and we should talk about the movies first.
Okay.
So, we're going to talk about the movie that I gifted you, Rebecca. And what is that?
Mm-hmm. The Apartment.
The Apartment.
Ingredient number 1, a very warm, very wonderful story about a boy, a girl, and a very special kind of problem.
Did you hear what I said, Miss Kubelik? I absolutely adore you.
Shut up and deal.
Ingredient number 2, a brilliant cast. Jack Lemmon in a delightful role which gives full rein to Jack's amazing versatility. Shirley MacLaine, whose glowing warmth lights up the screen like a Christmas tree. Fred MacMurray. This is a Fred MacMurray you've never seen before.
You know, you see a girl a couple of times a week just for laughs, and right away they think you're going to divorce your wife. I ask you, is that fair?
No, sir, it's very unfair. Especially to your wife.
Yeah.
Ingredient number 3, Billy Wilder. There's nothing quite like that Billy Wilder, some like it hot kind of laughter.
$1960.
1960. So for people who are unaware, because I feel like The Apartment is not, it's not on kind of the tier of like Citizen Kane and Casablanca that like everyone has.
Oh, no way is it on
have.
that tier.
Oh, yeah, I know. And it's also not like enough of like a weird cult film that also like all the freaks have seen it. So I feel like it kind of gets a little bit lost in the classic movie shuffle.
Well,
but
for me, it's just Amelia's movie.
It's my favorite. It's one of my all-time favorite films. It's
On
like
Christmas.
It's like between this and The Wicker Man.
I would say on Christmas, everybody I know is with like some kind of large extended family.
Yes.
Whether their own or someone else's, that they are sort of like, you know, beholden to for sexual reasons. And Amelia,
you know, Christmas, it's the time that you're sexually beholden to.
well, you
to
know,
be able to-
you like, this is like the issue with people these days, right? They like get attached to some person for sexual reasons. And then at Christmas, suddenly they got to go hang out with that person's grandma.
True.
And they've all got
That's
to do
true.
a Secret Santa. And they're like, oh, and you've picked Kobe.
He
gotta
loves
buy a present for Kobe.
He loves hockey, and he likes gardening. So you could get him like
He likes hanging with the boys, and he's from Whakatane.
mean.
And he's between 24 and 30. And it has to be $100.
So everyone's doing that, but what am I doing?
Everyone's
Grace?
doing that. And I'm like not doing anything because my family is only 2 people
Yeah.
who are with each other every day anyway. And my mom is like one of the world's worst like gift givers.
Yes.
So usually
I can
my
vouch
Christmas-
for this. I've seen the aftermath many times.
My Christmas is like me, and I love cooking. So my Christmas is me making an elaborate meal for 2 people and giving my mom a lovely thought out gift. And she says, well, you didn't tell me what you want, so. And then I sort of like bring out plate after plate, and she's like, oh, that's a bit much, isn't it? How much did this cost?
Well, there's just 2 of you. It's all going to be a bit. Anything's going to be a bit much, isn't it?
And then Amelia watches The Apartment by herself.
Yeah. Fantastic. Highly recommend. You need to have kind of a sturdy heart. I will
Would
say.
you describe yourself as not that into Christmas? Or is it just the nature of your family?
A lot of my family are going overseas. And then my partner's
They already live
family
overseas.
have Christmas in like a different place. And so often I just kind of end up, yeah. But this makes it sound sad, but I'm happy about this.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is that you're happy with that. You're not one of these people who's like, I wish we had candles and sacks and matching sleepwear.
So The
I
Apartment...
don't know what people do.
The Apartment is a 1960 comedy drama film directed by Billy Wilder, the best to ever do it, in my opinion. Billy Wilder, who was writer / director. I don't know if he wrote all of these, but he directed some like Hot Sunset Boulevard, The Apartment, Double Indemnity, Sabrina, The Lost Weekend, The 7-Year Itch, Irma La Douce, which is not as good as The Apartment by quite a lot, but anyway. And it's got Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine. the darling of the screen, Shirley MacLaine. Do you want to explain briefly the plot outline, or should I do that?
Oh, this is quite tricky because I've only seen it once, but it was today. But you've seen it like a million times.
Okay.
Do you want me to explain it and then you can be like, oh, Rebecca, it's not what happens?
No, I'll explain it and then you can tell me what you thought about it.
Okay.
All right. So, Jack Lemmon is Baxter, who is a kind of like low-level drudge at this big office. And his
Accounting.
He's an accountant, yeah. His strategy for moving up the corporate ladder is to let executives in his company use his apartment to have sex in.
Oh, not
Meanwhile, he falls in love with the elevator girl, Fran. Things quickly go quite terribly badly when it turns out that Fran has been one of the women having sex in his apartment. And her affair goes badly, and he becomes tangled up in that. And that's the rest of the movie that I won't spoil for you what goes on there.
Okay.
But it's like a film that goes to some quite dark places. And I
think especially for 1960, right? It's like a lot.
It's insane. So I googled this so I could have the details up in front of me. Oh, it grossed 24.6 million. And there's like one of the like preview results on Google is a Reddit post that says, I watched The Apartment for the first time ever today while homesick from work. It was marketed as a comedy, and it really doesn't feel like one. I was surprised that they covered such a dark topic, the topic of suicide.
Yeah, I was surprised too. And I was I wasn't surprised that this was Amelia's Christmas movie.
It is set at Christmas. This is not like, it's not a street, like this is a movie about Christmas, right?
Yeah, but knowing you, I wasn't like, oh my God, a movie that Amelia watches at Christmas is about suicide. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yes.
And the corporate ladder.
It's about the drudgery of everyday life driving you to despair, and the kind of like the beauty of the little everyday things is the only thing you can count on.
The only way that you can move up the corporate ladder is by like exploiting people. Is it exploitation if everyone's consenting? That's what the movie's about.
That is what the movie's about. Oh, how good is The Apartment though, Raz?
It was really good, but it was quite depressing, and I wouldn't myself watch it every Christmas.
Yes, I cry quite a lot every time.
Yeah, but I think I just assumed that you would be crying because it was like a beautiful movie.
No.
But I should have known.
No, I'm crying because it's very sad. But then I feel like it ends on like a hopeful note though, right?
Yeah, it ends on a hopeful note, but
the spirit of Christmas comes through at the end.
What's the spirit of New Year? Christmas is just fucked in the movie.
Yeah, Christmas is fucked. R.I.P. Christmas.
But New Year's like brings some hope.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I think everyone listening to this needs to watch The Apartment.
And there's a bit of class commentary.
There's a lot happening in the movie. I feel like it's like the only movie I wish...
There's sexual harassment.
There's sexual harassment. It's the only movie that's ever made me wish that I was like a movie YouTuber. Because I feel like... I could do The Apartment video.
Yeah, okay.
I could do the like fucking every frame of painting video about The Apartment. Okay, do you want to hear my thesis about The Apartment that I think would make a good YouTube video? No. Mm-hmm. It's that structurally in the movie, Baxter and Fran are in two different genres of film for most of the film until they like kind of find each other.
Okay.
So he is in like a slapstick comedy and she is in like a melodrama women's film. Mm-hmm. And all of their scenes are like shot differently and like paced differently and have like different kind of like pacing to the dialogue and everything. And obviously in the YouTube video, I'd be putting in cuts here and memes, and I'd play that that Quincy Jones like boo 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 sound. Because I'd be a YouTube person and I'd be doing it good. But did you? Okay. What do you think? What do you think of my thesis?
I agree with you. I definitely noticed how dramatic the shift was when it went into her perspective, because obviously I wasn't expecting that, because it was like a movie all about this guy, and he was like even doing like a voiceover narration. It was all about him and how he was like, he really wanted to like get this promotion, but he was just sort of really stuck in lending out his apartment to all of these higher executives, and they were sort of like blackmailing him a little bit, and he was like getting stuck out in the cold, and it was making him sick, and his neighbors were like sick of the noise and they thought it was him, and like all this sort of stuff. And then there's this really big shift when we follow her into this Chinese restaurant and bar.
Yes. I love
sells
the
vinyl pressings of its piano music.
Oh, it's so good.
And then she's like having like a really shitty conversation, I think, with the guy who she's having an affair with, and it was like extremely different tonally.
Yeah,
and it was just so sad. And then I thought that it was. In some, like, not in towards the end, but in the first couple of scenes, I like found her character like quite relatable, and I was like, were the 60s like better because at least everyone was like honest about how like they're like, oh, I'm having an affair.
Oh no.
I was like, is this better? Everyone's just like, yeah, I'm a powerful guy, I'm having an affair, and you're sort of like this powerless woman, you're not my wife, and we can both sort of do whatever we want, whatever. But now
those good old days.
Like, yeah, I was like, is that actually better than what we have now, where everybody's pretending they're not having an affair by being like, oh, we're open, but we just haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
Or like, but I just didn't tell you that I had a girlfriend, but I didn't think that I needed to because, me and you are not that serious. Or like, we're actually just friends, so that's why that never came up or whatever. Like, they didn't have any of that. Everyone in the office was like, and then he made me do it in the back of his nephew's car. I'm too old for that. Like, everybody was just like openly like, I know what my position is. And then I was like, we live in a dark time.
Yeah, I mean, things deteriorate pretty quickly for poor Fran. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it is really
like now
it is really striking how like from because it basically starts like kind of in media res. Like, it doesn't like explain to you why he's letting out these apartments. It's just kind of like aye and like sad trombone sound. Like,
yeah, they're just like Baxter, send me up that key of yours. And you're like, oh, why is this key going all around the office? And you're like, oh, it's quite cool, like that they have these sort of runners.
Yeah.
And these elevator operators and stuff.
And he bumps into her on the elevator because she's the elevator girl, and he's like, oh boy, miss, like heart eyes basically, and you're like, oh well, this is gonna work out really well. And then it goes to her perspective, and you're like, oh, she's not in the heart eyes meet cute in an elevator film. Sadly, she is.
Even
she is having
was
her
doing
own
these like pretty wild hand gestures when she was pressing the elevator button.
Yes. But yeah, from her perspective, the movie is like, I just don't know if I can take it anymore.
Yeah, but from his perspective, like, starts off with the introduction of her character. It's like, oh, like, none of the guys in the office, like, can impress her. She's difficult to impress. But he's, like, going to be the one to, like, crack the egg, whatever. And then, yeah, that's not really what it's about.
No, but I
And they even have this, like, super obvious, like, physical thing that they're, like, everyone getting off on 19, and then, like, all the executives are up on 27, right?
yeah.
And then, like, other people get off on 20 and stuff, but he's, like, stuck on 19. And then every time he has to go speak to the executives, he has to, like, get the elevator to take him up to 27. And they even have a bell that, like, a bell rings and everyone finishes work. I think that when I was working minimum wage, I wish we had that.
I'd love a bell. I think that another thing about this movie is that it just, like, it looks amazing. Like, it's, like, kind of everything's, like, subtly exaggerated. Like, the office that they're in kind of goes on forever. And it never feels
And
like a kind of, like...
everybody's walking so fast.
Yeah, everyone's hustling all the time. But yeah, I love...
The office is just massive.
Because you know how people...
And they have, like... some sort of, like, drugstore at the bottom that sells, like, paperbacks and medicine.
They're living the life. They're living the, like, the madman life.
And it looks great. I wish we were all living a madman life.
But I feel like people often talk about, like, someone being like, I'm just a minor character in this movie. Like, oh, they think they're, like, the lead character of the movie. But it's like... But I think in this movie, they're, like, the lead characters in different movies for a long time. And I think that's really... I really think that is interesting because it's, like... It makes the tension really interesting because you're not... Like, you understand the whole time why they're not together because they're just totally have different, like, goals and are in totally different situations. You're not like, oh, come on, guys. You're like, oh, my God, I hope this doesn't ruin both of your lives
'cause
forever.
I think very often in romantic movies or romantic comedies especially, because of the nature of, like, having been written by the same people...
Yeah.
The characters are often, like, extremely similar, even if they're portrayed as being, like, one's rich and one's poor, or...
Yeah, totally.
One's casual and one's, like, a high-powered executive. They're always, like, basically the same. Like, they have the same morals and stuff.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel like that in this.
No, and I feel like, yeah, also in a lot of movies like that, they really need to, like, contrive reasons that they're not just getting together. Whereas...
Yeah, and then here, it's like she's going out with someone else.
She's going out with someone else, and also she's, like, totally preoccupied with that stuff. Like...
Yeah, and this guy, he can't get inside his own house.
No. He's like... He thinks, like, oh, I'm just a schmuck. And it's like, yeah, no, you dog, you are just a schmuck. Like...
Yeah, and, like, he never sort of... You know, like, obviously things change at the end of the movie in some ways, but he still is just a schmuck.
Yeah, it's... I love The Apartment so much. It's they reunited Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine for Irma la Douce, which is
and it's bad.
It's not. I wouldn't say it was. I mean, compared to The Apartment, it's bad. Compared to, like, any other mid-60s comedy, it's pretty good.
Okay. I think I'm pretty sure the only other Jack Lemmon movie I've seen is Some Like It Hot.
Also a wilder joint. Good movie.
But I don't know. I mean, I can't be bothered looking now, but I don't think I've seen any other ones. The Shirley MacLaine movies I'd seen, I was like, oh my God.
Oh, you're not a MacLaine fan?
No.
Damn.
Not.
Yeah.
I would definitely, like, all the movies that I've seen her in are, like, the ones she was in the 2000s.
Oh, okay. Well, look, if you want kind of, like, mid-level, mid-60s comedies, she's in a lot of them. A lot of decent
because
ones.
I've seen people advertising, like, Shirley MacLaine, like, retrospectives and stuff. And, like, because I hadn't seen any of the older films, I'm always like, the grandmother from Rumour Has It? The Jennifer Aniston movie sort of based on The Graduate. Based on the premise, whatever happened to the people in The Graduate.
Oh my God.
2000... I think 6.
Are you looking up the year?
Yeah, I'm looking up the year.
Okay. Because
I also 2005. I thought that she was the mum in 2.5 Men.
No, I don't think.
But I mean, like, I didn't think that now. I thought that like at the time.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think you need to do some like corrective action on.
Oh my god.
Look, I think
Corrective action.
I'm gonna say Shirley MacLaine is in at least one other masterpiece, like all time.
And you're not gonna tell me.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I just thought I would say that first. Which is The Children's Hour, which is an extremely upsetting film. Where
I've heard of Terms of Endearment and Sweet Charity, and of course Steel Magnolias.
Sweet Charity is like has a lot of fluff, but you kind of have to see it because it's old mate choreographer Bob Fosse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's where Hey Big Spender is from.
So
It has some of the like great. Well, I need to tell you what the Children's Hour is.
Okay.
The Children's Hour is Audrey Hepburn and Shirley MacLaine run like a finishing school, and then one of the girls at the school starts a rumor that they're gay, and so they.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the school gets shut down and all the kids get removed, and it's like, but is there something to the rumor? Extremely upsetting. Very good film.
I'm going to tell you the 3 horrible movies I've seen Shirley MacLaine in.
Okay.
Rumor has it, In Her Shoes, also 2005.
Oh my god.
And Valentine's Day.
No.
Yeah,
They
that's
put her
it.
on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
That's
And I saw it at the movies.
That's offensive. She's also in a movie that's very dear to my heart. The Trouble with Harry, which is Hitchcock's most bizarre film. Have I talked to you about The Trouble with Harry before?
I don't think so.
The Trouble with Harry is Hitchcock being like, everyone says I'm the master of suspense. I'm going to make an anti-Hitchcock movie that with no suspense. And so everyone in the movie is just like, oh, a guy died. You can clearly tell how it was done. It's just very odd. There's like literally there's no tension or suspense in the movie. It's like a very odd
why do you
black
think he
comedy.
did that?
Just to fuck with everyone because he's like a little freak man.
Is it British?
It's I think an American. Yeah, it's an American production. But 1955. So it's like you know. He's on a hot streak and he decides to make this like totally bizarre film.
But he's on like a different hot streak than the hot streak he's like most known for.
What's he up to? Sorry. I feel like it's so hot. I'm just like, I just don't care about flow of the show like I usually do. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to look at
Usually you're like, Rebecca, you're ruining the flow.
Oh, you're ruining
doing
the
too
flow.
many numbers. Too many details.
I think it's a pretty classic. He did, look, 51, Strangers on a Train, then I Confess, then Dial M for Murder, then Rear Window, then To Catch a Thief, then The Trouble with Harry, then The Man Who Knew Too Much, The Wrong Man, and then Vertigo. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's not the 60s run, but it's like the 50s run.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. It's definitely not
I was like, but like Amelia's 60 to 62.
Oh, you don't want to include Marnie in there for 64? Oh, Marnie.
No, like I'm being honest with myself here.
Okay, all right.
That's not what the people aren't like. Alfred Hitchcock, the guy who directed Marnie.
We hate horses. The Bing Bong audience.
We hate colour. Colour.
But yeah, I think...
And also... Sorry, I'm going to say something else.
Okay.
But you don't care about flow anymore, so that's all right.
I was just gonna do a little summing up. So that's fine.
Okay, I'm looking something up. No, I found it already.
Okay.
Since our last episode,
yeah,
I was listening to Bless Your Beautiful Hide a lot.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
From Seven Brides, Seven Brothers. And then Spotify made me this like playlist. and made one of the daily mixes like all like 50s and 60s musicals.
Oh, wow.
So I learned all these new songs, and so that was like interesting for me because there's a scene in the apartment where they're supposed to meet at the Music Man, right?
Yeah.
And she doesn't show up.
Everyone was going to the Music
This guy's going to get a
Man.
divorce for her. But now I know 2 songs from that. I know 2 songs now. One's called You Got Trouble, and one of them is called Shapoopy.
Oh, are those from the Music Man? I know those songs.
And I really like You Got Trouble. I think that's a great song.
But how do you feel about Shapoopy?
I don't like onomatopoeias.
Okay, okay.
Like anything of that nature, and I don't like the sounds in the word. So
While we're
but You
talking,
Got Trouble.
it's a classic. While we're talking about musicals, my favorite like fun fact about The Apartment is that Bacharach and David made a musical based on it in like 1968 called Promises, Promises. So it's a musical of The Apartment, and that's where what is it called? What do you do with a broken heart?
No, that's not what it's called.
It's not what it's called.
No,
I'll never fall in love again.
I'll never fall in love again.
It's where
what becomes of the broken hearted?
what it's where
the sequel to what's that movie? What's that terrible New Zealand movie? Once Warriors.
yeah. It's where I'll Never Fall in Love Again comes from, which is so cool to me. Can you imagine that as a duet between Baxter and Fran?
It would totally not suit the movie because it's not a musical.
No, they're not doing it in the. Yeah, you got to imagine they've been
Don't you think
singing
she
other
looks
songs.
so much like Lea Seydoux in the movie?
I had never thought of that, but yes, she does. That kind of like
And she's
wide
going
face.
mean now.
Who's Shirley MacLaine?
Yeah.
What's she up to now?
Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to have to read something from the Wikipedia to
I
get
might
your live
not.
reaction.
I might not want to know about this. Okay.
It's not like Nazi turf stuff.
Okay. She started an
Okay.
apartment crypto coin.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on mic. MacLaine claimed that in a previous life in Atlantis, she was the brother of a 35,000-year-old spirit named Rantha, channeled by mystic teacher and author Jay-Z Knight.
Hell yeah! So you mean she's on like some good shit? She's like killing it.
She has a strong interest in spirituality and metaphysics, which are the central themes of some of her best-selling books, including Out on a Limb and Dancing in the Light. Her spiritual explorations include Walking the Way of St. James. That I don't think that I've ever seen that in English before. Working with Chris Griscom and practicing transcendental meditation. She has an interest in UFOs and gave numerous interviews on CNN, NBC, and Fox News channels on the subject during 2007 to 2008. In her book Saging While Aging, 2007, she described having alien encounters and witnessing the 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO incident. On an episode of The Oprah Winfrey Show in April 2011, MacLaine stated that she and her neighbor had observed numerous UFOs at her New Mexico ranch for extended periods of time. And she fundraised for McGovern. Okay, and then last bit. On February 7th, 2013, Penguin Group USA published Saatchi Parker's autobiography, Lucky Me, My Life With and Without My Mom, Shirley MacLaine. One of its claims was that when Saatchi was in her 20s, her mother told her she believed that Steve Parker was a clone of her real father, an astronaut named Paul, then travelling in the Pleiades, or as we like to call it, Matariki. MacLaine denied this and called the book virtually all fiction.
Wow. And I thought I couldn't love her anymore.
Yeah, I told you it was going to be all right.
Fantastic. I've got a couple more things to say. One, I've sent you I've sent you some overseas in Facebook Messenger. I've sent you 2 overseas posters for the apartment, which I wanted you to see because for some reason everyone made them really horny overseas.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't think Shirley MacLaine is ever that nude in the film.
No, it's not her who's nude. It's the 3 other women.
No, I'm talking about the second one.
Oh no, she's nude and she's nude in Spanish.
Yes, but in French, there's some other
like,
just
like
new women.
Blurry image, but looks like she's holding maracas.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I feel like our fans are interested in campy bullshit. In which case, I would recommend the 1964 Shirley MacLaine comedy vehicle, What a Way to Go! ! In which Shirley MacLaine keeps accidentally becoming a widow. She keeps marrying guys who die in increasingly ridiculous ways. And she amasses a great fortune and ends up dressing all in pink and living in a totally pink house with a big pink car. And then other things happen. And then more people die. So if you like campy bullshit and you want to see Shirley MacLaine in a film with Robert Mitchum, Paul Newman, Gene Kelly, and Dick Van Dyke, and Dean Martin, you got to watch What a Way to Go. And then my third thing is that I don't think there are any other movies that quite do it for me like The Apartment. To me, there's just no other movie that hits on this many levels with this like particular tone. Like, it's like dramatic and romantic and beautiful, but it's also like very funny and kind of dark and cynical and fun. I don't know. I've not. It kind of like it's its own kind of little thing for me, and I love that about it. The Apartment. Do you have something?
Thing.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Sorry, the thing was my phone was on 1%, and I'm trying to read something.
Oh no!
My thing was that it's plugged in now. Don't worry.
Okay.
My thing was that the poster you sent me says "L'appartamento non sapeva dire no," which means he just couldn't say no. And then it has a picture of like 3 sexy women in lingerie. And then Shirley MacLaine with like a wry smile. And he's looking like quite serious.
It is true though, his major issue in the film is that he has trouble saying no.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that he like... The issue is he can't say no to higher up people at work, not that he can't stop fucking.
Hey, there's a lot of sex happening in his apartment.
It's just not him.
It's just not him. All right. Should we talk about the next film? Mm-hmm. Do you want to intro it? Because this was your gift to me.
Dearest, there are no accidents, and everything comes full circle. No explanation I offer will satisfy you. You seek resolutions because you're young, but you will understand this one day.
How many times have you been in love?
Okay, the next film we are talking about is 2015's Carol.
Don't say it like it's my imposition. That's just the year that came out.
So yesterday, I thought it was I thought the movie came out in 2016, and then Amelia was like, no, it wasn't 2016, and so I thought that it must be 2017.
No.
But now I've discovered I was wrong in the wrong direction.
You're wrong twice. Do you want to hear... say what the film is first.
We did.
2015's Carol. Okay.
Because I was going to say directed by Todd.
Merry Christmas. Todd Haynes' Carol. It's got Cate Blanchett in it, don't it? It's got Rooney Mara in it. It's got Sarah Paulson, who I kept going, who is that? Who is that? I know her from something. And I don't know what I know her
It's
from.
Sarah Paulson.
Now.
She's
Sarah
on everything.
Yeah, but I was like, what is she from? And all
She's
of the stuff.
girlfriends with Holland Taylor.
All of the stuff that I looked at, I was like, okay, I understand why I know who she is, but not specifically who she is. Sorry, Sarah Paulson. Do you want to give us a rundown of
Holland
of Carol?
Taylor was the mum in 2.5 Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to think because I didn't just watch it. You did.
Okay. Well, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. I don't mind.
Okay. So, Carol, it's the 50s, right? We're set in the 50s. Rooney Mara is a woman called Therese who works in a department store. Mm-hmm. A glamorous woman called Carol, played by Kate Blanchett, comes in, and Therese convinces her to buy a train set instead of a doll, which could be a metaphor for something. And then they basically kind of like fall in love without Therese like fully realizing what's happening. So she kind of like leaves her boyfriend and hits the road with Carol.
And she loves photography.
However, things become complicated when Carol is involved in a custody suit with her ex-husband, Herge, which hinges on a morality clause about her being a lesbian. And that is what Carol is about. 2015's Carol, based on a book by Patricia Highsmith that I really want to read now.
Called The Price of Salt.
Well, it says that all over Wikipedia, but I believe it's available mainly as Carol.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what I hate, Amelia? Sorry. But you said you didn't care about Flo. I don't like how angry people get about movie tie-in book covers.
Oh, it was renamed Carol before the film, much long before the film.
Oh, okay.
I think it was The Price of... I read about this yesterday, but it was originally published under a pseudonym because she didn't want to be associated with, like, you know, you get pigeonholed into lesbo fiction. I think once it was republished under her own name, she changed the name to Carol. Partly because I think The Price of Salt is a very 1952 name, and it was getting republished in like the 90s.
So what I was saying was that I think that people should just suck it up about movie tie-in book covers.
Oh, yeah?
You know, because people are like, because, you know, but this is something that people, like every single time that there's a book is adapted into a film.
Yes.
Or even a film is produced out of, like, a remade. You know, a film is remade into a new film and it was originally based on a book. Like, every time that happened, there's going to be a movie tie-in cover.
So you're happy to buy Blade Runner by Philip K. Dick?
Oh, my God. I didn't mean the title. I mean that usually they do a new printing that has some sort of imagery associated with the movie. And it says, like, now a major movie on the front.
Now a major motion picture. Thank you very much.
Sorry, now a major motion picture. And people online are always like, they shouldn't do that because I'm a book fucker and I just like books and books are sacred and blah, blah, blah. But, like, people are just not going to buy the book. The thing about books is that people don't buy them.
Yes.
So
this is what I've learned through knowing you. Is that the number of people buying books is much lower than you might think.
Oh, it's so much lower. It's, you know, like if you sell 1,000 books, that's an achievement.
Yes.
But imagine getting 1,000 streams of an album.
Stop laughing.
Tragedy.
Stop laughing at me.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I mean, like, if you were, like, sort of touted as being in the top 10 books of the Anglophone world of the year, you would expect that you would more than 1,000 more than 5,000, whatever. Yeah, so I just think that, people don't buy books. If a book temporarily has a cover that has a photo from a movie that's been made out of that book and then people buy it, that's fine. That's a sacrifice that needs to be made. It's still the same book, just has a different picture.
Look, I'm gonna respectfully. I'm happy for them if they want to buy the movie tie-in book, but I personally will not be purchasing.
Oh, it's fine if you are like a book guy and you're gonna look online for like a different cover or whatever. I'm personally waiting for a book to be recovered because the cover is so ugly that I didn't buy the book.
Oh my god, really?
And I'm not alone, and it's a whole thing.
Wow. I spent a long time deciding which copy of Mrs. Caliban I needed to buy.
Oh, me too.
Very wide variation on that cover.
I bought a Faber reprint.
That's a nice cover on that one.
There's a nice cover on that. Yeah, okay, that was what I was saying.
All right, so I'd never seen...
Her last name is Aird, right?
Carol Aird? So it's something like that. Yeah, Aird.
Yeah, and Amelia had never seen it in her whole life. Even though...
I'm gay woman. Yes.
Is that because you made me say that on the podcast?
Well, I mean, to be honest, that is... look, I don't know. Are you
homophobic?
No, I underestimated our boy Todd.
No.
I should have known it would fucking rip. But I was kind of like, I don't want to watch a sad lesbo movie.
It's not really like...
Well, no, it's not at all like that. But it's, a lot of the movies... this is just more of me being mental. But I don't know. It looked really grim to me. And everyone was always talking about how much they cried and stuff. And so I was kind of like, I just never got round to it. I didn't not watch it on purpose. In 2015, I was not watching a lot of contemporary films. I was having some personal issues.
I think I didn't see it. I didn't see it at the movies when it came out, but I saw it after that.
Well, I was continued having personal issues for a little
You were having
while.
personal issues for ages. That's why you didn't see Call Me by Your Name either.
Yeah, there's a whole dead
this
zone
whole period
for me.
of time. Yeah, there's a dead zone where I was seeing all these movies, and then I was actually going to Amelia's house afterwards and being like, "Oh my god, I saw this movie," and it was so different, or it's just. I think that was a really good, whatever. And Amelia was like,
I'd be like, yeah.
Do you think that people are real? That sort of stuff.
Is the chair trying to occupy my area?
Or I've bought 7 woolen jumpers, but I can't fit them in my room. Can you do something?
But look, time heals all wounds, and we're all fine now. And we're watching Carol like it's 2015. And yeah, it's really beautiful. I mean, I think the first thing that struck me about it is that it's using Chaboy 16mm film.
It doesn't say Chaboy.
Chaboy 16mm film.
Sounds like Shapoopy.
It's using Shapoopy Super 16, which looks so good. It looks so they say, I read an interview with the cinematographer, and he was talking about how he wanted to capture the effect of contemporary photography from the 50s. And it genuinely it looks like they've strung a bunch of snaps that you found in the bottom of your nan's cupboard together. It's so good.
Yeah. It has great colors.
It
has great pacing.
While we're being Christmas spirity and being a bit loose about it, I don't know why everyone's always so fucking excited about 70mm. For my money.
Is that the Oppenheimer one?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm like, well, this is going to be less grain. Okay. Like
I like more grain.
I want it to look more fucked, please.
You know, we tried Super 8.
Oh, you want it to be like cleaner and have less like bizarre saturation effects? No, more. Super
Of course
16.
not. Might as well film it on a fucking video.
Not video. We're not shooting on video.
Yeah, video. What's it called? Like,
We're like a TV show.
Miramax or whatever. No, not that.
No.
Distributor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
We're shooting on 5 centimeter. I've had to do. I know that you're like, stop talking about your life and times, but I've had to do so much research about fucking videos and tapes and stuff recently.
Oh, because you're writing a novel set in the 1980s.
Yeah, and then
Are we allowed to reveal that on the pod?
Yeah, we can say that. That's fine.
Okay.
I love revealing things on the podcast, and I love doing things on the Cinema Bing Bong Instagram that I refuse to do on my own Instagram.
Hell yeah, front-facing video.
Like, I'll do a front-facing video. When, you know, I get asked by, like, high-up executives to do some more front-facing videos, I'm like, no, I can't do it because I'm autistic.
But I've got the podcast exclusivity.
I'll do it for
autism.
Cinema Bing Bong for 1 like.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I know that we have like a lot of New Zealand listeners here. We have a lot more New Zealand, like our proportion of New Zealanders in our audience is a lot higher than like my personal following.
Okay.
So can I just say that like it's so fucking annoying that like this book is like set in 1985 and 1986, and every single thing that I look up about New Zealand opened in 1987.
That's when we really got like, going in New Zealand.
I'm like, okay, so they can like get out a video, right? And then I think like, not that many people had like VCRs at that time, but you're like, okay, but this character is like interested in film or whatever, and they had enough money, so probably they would, right? And then like you look up like video stores in New Zealand, and every single one is like Civic Video first opened in Australia in 1986 and then came to New Zealand in 1987. Or it's like Video Easy, which opened in New Zealand in 1990. Like, for fuck's sake, like.
Would they have had independent video stores though?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't alive. And you know what it's like asking your parents about anything.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the moment, like, as we've discussed before, at the moment they're saying that the New Zealand economic situation is the worst since the mother of all budgets in 1991, when we were both born. And so I said to my mum, like, oh, it must have been, like, so hard being, like, 8 months pregnant when the mother of all budgets came out and, you were on the benefit. And my mum was like, what? I don't think so. I think that it was fine. Wasn't it? So you can't exactly be like, what year did United Video first open? And how many people had VCRs? A boomer will just be like, well, I'll tell you what. A lot of people went out and bought microwaves on hire purchase. And, they couldn't pay them off. That sort of stuff. So I need internet, except, when you're from a small country, the internet isn't like that expensive.
It's not your friend. It's
not really your friend.
Yeah.
Everything is so hard to find. And so, yeah, that's why I've been doing. You're Googling, like, how many, popularity of Walkmans and, like, personal user adoption of Apple Macintosh and stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, things were invented or they were available on the market, but people didn't, like, generally have them, or they were super expensive for just, like, private use, or they didn't have them in New Zealand.
Yeah. I think there are some people we could ask about this, if you want me to put out some feelers. about.
I don't think I have an issue at the moment.
About VCR adoption. Okay, all right.
But I'll let you know in the future. I'm always trying to work my way around things.
I have a surprise. I know a surprising number of people who work in libraries and museums, so probably not that surprising to be honest.
That's not surprising at all.
No. So Carol. Look, it's your boy Todd Haynes. So it is. It's just done exquisitely, and I think what really struck me about the film is how much is communicated through the characters' physicality and non-verbal interactions. It's it's really a masterclass in the little look and there's a very prominent hand on the shoulder, but it's it's done so well. It's just this is filmmaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that quite interestingly, the people I know who really loved May December,
yes,
hadn't seen Carol.
Interesting.
Because I really, really like Carol. And then when I saw May December, I was oh, this is a little bit much for me.
Yeah,
but obviously I was viewing it through that lens, but I think that everyone I know who loved May December had never seen Carol, so they didn't have that sort of expectation of the perfection of social realism.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more about Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, and
right.
And also Velvet Goldmine.
Velvet Goldmine, yeah, which I haven't seen Velvet Goldmine.
Velvet Goldmine is a crazy movie. It's very, what is it very? It's very 90s glam. But if you want to see Ewan McGregor get his dick out, I'm pretty sure that happens. He
No,
plays
I don't.
It's almost like a fan fiction where it's imagine if you were a journalist and you got to hang out with David Bowie and Iggy Pop, and they were all kind of being a bit fruity with it. And also all the names were changed for legal reasons.
Right, okay. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah, that's what it's about. The film centers on Brian Slade, a bisexual and androgynous glam rock icon. But yeah, Carol, I think, is a much more grounded. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what I think Haynes does more of that. He remade Mildred Pierce, which I haven't seen, but I imagine it's more like Carol than it is like Velvet Goldmine. If it's anything like the original Mildred Pierce.
Oh, it's hard to say what I prefer.
You love a well-crafted drama.
I love a well-crafted, grounded drama, but I also love a full tilt movie.
Yeah.
But in that, I kind of I want the film to be regular people being insane.
Okay. You don't want
I don't want the film to be insane.
You don't want it to be Scottish Iggy Pop.
I want it to be Maestro.
Okay. You want it to be Tar.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I love Tar. Well, I mean, I forgot about Tar, actually. I was thinking about Maestro. It doesn't have to be about...
That's what I call Tar, so, she's my Maestro.
I mean, not that she's a real person, but,
Do you want to move on from Carol? Do you have anything else to say about Carol?
I don't think so, because I want to talk about other stuff as well.
Yeah, certainly. I think I'd just like to say... Carol rules.
Yeah, Carol rules. It's a great Christmas movie, and it's like I was saying yesterday, you don't want to watch it if you're too young.
Tell me more about what you were saying yesterday, because that's not going to mean anything to the audience.
I just feel like the first time I watched it, I found like the ending is like quite like uneasy.
Well, so for the I was messaging Raz as I was watching the film, and when I got to the end, I said, I can't believe this had a happy ending. Everyone talks about it like it's so tragic. And the ending is, yes, it's like, it's not like, there's not like streamers. It's not like the end of Star Wars. They don't all get a medal, although that would be quite good. It is like...
It's more uneasy. It's more uneasy than the end of The Apartment.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. It's slightly open-ended, but
it's slightly
in
open-ended.
a way,
it's not like...
everyone does kind of get what they want. The uneasiness is a question of like whether that is a good thing or not.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I was trying to say was that I think that the ending of the film would be more uneasy for you if you are a young person.
If you're Rooney Mara, not Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, if you watch the film and you're closer to Rooney Mara, you feel like naive, or you're like questioning your sexuality, or like you sort of like have this optimistic, when you're like people are very, like when you're a kid and stuff, people always, when we were kids, they'll be like, oh, when you grow up and get married and have kids and stuff.
Yes.
And then you have like, not you, but one has the potential to have an unease about that you're like, oh, maybe I'm not straight, or maybe I'm a different gender, or maybe I'm asexual, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like a different sort of unease about that when you're like, oh, fuck, I'm 33 and no one likes me.
Yes, absolutely.
But I feel like if you are like close to that sort of like confused, like losing your optimism about love and like stability and stuff, you do not want to watch this movie at Christmas.
No, please don't.
Don't. But
don't
if you're an old person...
Yeah, because
if you're an old person, or you are married, or
I've got enough
chill.
I've got enough grey hair now to feel like I've got a little bit of wisdom. And if you're old enough to be like, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. That's life. Then that's fine. That was me at the end. I was like, well, I think it'll be a good experience for her. Like.
Yeah. If you're like 23, you've just been dumped, like all your friends are in relationships and stuff, everyone's moving to Australia, then you don't need to see this right now.
No. Watch The Apartment instead. No. I think
The Apartment's quite unrelatable.
Really? Really?
No, I did say it was relatable before. If you're not being fucked around by any stupid men,
I think this is what...
I think, actually, if you're in any of these circumstances, you should go for the third movie.
Yeah, this brings us to the bonus, which is when Rebecca found out that I also hadn't seen this movie, which I don't know how I haven't seen it.
I saw it when it came out.
It's been on TV a lot as well. I had seen multiple 5-minute sections of this movie. But I'd never watched the whole thing, which is also weird because I am a fan of the lead actor. And I know that that's not cool to say, but I think he's really cool. I think he's a really talented comic actor.
Who's the woman? Sorry, no, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm looking up who the woman is.
What's the film?
The film is 2003, Alf.
Hi.
Your costume is pretty.
Oh, it's not a costume. I'm an elf.
Oh.
Well, technically I'm a human, but I was raised by elves.
New Line Cinema presents the story of one elf who's coming home for Christmas.
Boy, can't wait to see my dad. We're gonna go ice skating and eat sugar plums. Sorry.
Now,
Boo Boo Boo, Elf, starring Will Ferrell.
Amelia's favorite actor, Will Ferrell.
I think he's funny. What? It's so annoying to me that it's become like okay to be like, I actually think Billy Madison was like pretty good. But you still, for some reason, Will Ferrell is like
yet.
not on the cards.
Amelia, when did Billy Madison come out? Like 1994?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. We've got...
That's why. It's not time to be like, I love Talladega Nights.
It was pretty good. It wasn't the best one.
It's not time.
Okay. So it stars...
No, like I was always a big fan of, as a child, I was a massive fan of Adam Sandler in reverse order. Third favorite, Adam Sandler. Second favorite, Jim Carrey. Number one favorite, Robin Williams.
Yeah, this is very... I'm not surprised, but I know about all
this. Is not surprising at all. No. But I was never a big fan. I just associate Will Ferrell with like sort of the Borat era.
Well, see, I got exposed like at a kind of inappropriately impressionable young age because I had older siblings. And my big brothers would be like, "Oh, let's watch Old School or whatever." And I guess I was like 10 and watching this like college sex comedy.
I got exposed. I was like a cool 14-year-old.
Yes.
With slightly older friends. And there's not a chance that any of those people would watch anything like that. Everybody was like, oh, I only watch French films.
Okay, fair enough.
So I was not exposed. I had this whole thing when I was 13 because I didn't like Napoleon Dynamite and I thought that I was like broken and that I wasn't funny and stuff.
Yeah, fair. Everyone liked that movie at the time.
Everyone fucking loved that movie at the time. I even bought the badge because I wanted to fit in.
Oh no. That's too far.
Not like that bad. You know when you used to be able to buy badges like $5 for $10 or whatever at Altier Square with all the emos?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you had to like pick another one. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll get this Vote for Pedro one. And like, you know, like a picture of a potato and like Postman Pat. And
this is the saddest story I've ever heard in my life.
You were there. You were fucking in Altier Square getting the signature of Amanda Palmer.
I did. I wasn't. I didn't. I wasn't there. So
imagine if I hallucinated that.
You did. I didn't go to that. I was at school.
Were you disappointed that you weren't there?
Yes, I was sad that I didn't get to do it. I loved the Dresden Dolls so much. I had the DVD.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay.
The mom in Alf is Mary... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The mom in Alf is Mary Steenburgen.
Okay. And what about Mary Steenburgen?
She's married to Ted Danson.
Okay.
And she's sort of in everything.
Her other films include A Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy.
She's in, Back to the Future 3, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Philadelphia, Nixon. I don't know that. Book
you really stepped on my line, Raz.
What?
A Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy.
Yeah, I thought, well, I don't know what that is, so.
No, neither. Oh, she was in Nightmare Alley. What a terrible film.
Okay, anyway, Alf.
Sorry. Nightmare Alley stands. Elf. So, Elf, look, I'm just going to do the plot because I've been doing all the plots.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Will Ferrell is a baby.
Will Ferrell.
I'm going to do it. Will Ferrell is a baby who crawls into Santa's sack and is brought accidentally to the North Pole, where he is subsequently...
At an orphanage, right?
We're getting to that. Who's subsequently raised as an elf by the elves. This kind of goes bad as he grows up because he can't work as fast as them. And he's huge. And he's also a bit like goofy.
Yeah.
And so
some nature versus nurture stuff.
And so eventually Santa reveals to Will Ferrell, the elf called Buddy, that he's actually a human and that he was from an orphanage and that his dad is James Caan, Walter, who's on the naughty list. His mum is dead. And so Buddy travels to New York to try and reunite with his dad, who's a dickhead children's book publisher. Meanwhile, he meets Walter's other family, his wife, Mary Steenburgen, and his child. And he also
Trevor
falls...
or something, yeah.
Something like that. And he falls in love with bloody Zooey Deschanel, playing a character called Jovi, who is working in a like a Santa's workshop. And that's what the movie is about.
In a department store.
And it's about the power of Christmas.
Yeah, because Jovi is like really down on the power of Christmas. But yeah, it's hard to overstate that Buddy is out of control.
Yeah, I think it took me a look. I'll tell you, Raz. I really enjoyed Elf, but I did not. I had a more difficult time with it than The Apartment or Carol.
Yeah, obviously, obviously. I just think that
and
for
I think
me,
that
Elf,
yes,
and The Grinch.
Okay, I've seen The Grinch.
Are the two childhood Christmas films that stand up the most now.
Okay, strong.
A lot of the other ones, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Not really the childhood ones. Yeah, films from that era, they don't stand up very well. But those ones are surprisingly good.
But the struggle that I had with Elf, right, is that Buddy shows up in New York and he's like, whoa, ho, ho, I eat marshmallows and I drink chocolate syrup. I'm going around and I'm singing. I love Christmas so much. Woo-hoo-hoo. I love Christmas. Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. I'm an elf. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's fucking nuts. And so the thing that was difficult for me is that my first reaction was like, well, they don't understand that he's really an elf. But that was in conflict with the fact that the other elves in the film are not like that. And it took me a while to make peace with the fact that he is raised as an elf, but he is also
ADHD.
He's his own special kind of guy.
Yeah, he's absolutely his own special kind of guy.
Yes. So
he's he's more excitable than elves, and he's much more excitable than the people of New York.
Yeah, so he is a kind of a weird guy that was acceptable in elf culture, but now being that kind of a weird guy with his elf customs has made him an excessively weird guy. And at that point, Raz, I got it. Because this has been my experience of moving to Australia. We're a lot of in kind of the opposite direction. Because a lot of things that I do a bit weird are kind of acceptable in New Zealand.
Yes, okay.
And in Australia, people are always like, why are you talking so deadpan? What do you mean? Are you joking? Are you being sarcastic?
Right, that's
why are you so
fine in New
unhappy
Zealand.
about this? Why are you not actually happy? You should act more happy. And I'm like, no, that sounds really good.
I am happy.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah, that happens to me when I go to other countries as well. They're like, "Are you really upset?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "No, I'm having I'm having a great time." They don't really do that in New Zealand.
No, you just
they're
go,
like, "Oh yeah, fair enough."
Oh, this
you're
is
quite
sick.
quiet.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to just chill out, eh? In other countries, they're like, "Are you having the most awful time? I can just tell by your face." But at the same time,
would be a very rude thing to say in New Zealand, I think.
Oh, incredibly rude thing to say in New Zealand. But at the same time, there are things that you can sort of do in Australia that you can't do in New Zealand, which is be weird.
Yes, I have found that no one's like, no one comments on like my weird tattoos or anything. They're just like, that's just normal.
And there's always people like standing in the way and stuff.
Oh, I hate that though. Anyway, Elf, it really all gets pulled together at the end. The kind of final set piece of the movie, which involves Christmas
Santa's
joy
sleigh
and Santa's sleigh and singing. It really
what's the phrase? It's like the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's like, the whole movie, he's like, he tries to get Jovi to like love Christmas, and she's like, dude, I'm just like a person who works this shitty retail job. I have to wear this elf outfit. I'm not an elf.
Yeah, this is just
I don't
my job.
like Christmas.
Fuck
but
off.
she does like Christmas, and he like he's like enchanted by her beautiful singing voice,
which I found quite funny because it is like
it is Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Deschanel is like is a good singer, but it is not what you would traditionally describe as like an enchanting singing voice.
But I think that fits with Elf.
Yes, and I think one thing. So I also did a little bit of reading up on Elf. So the script was originally written in the early 90s. And I think that makes so much of the film make sense. Like, it is basically a 1993 Christmas film that just didn't get made until 2004. And so,
I think I agree.
And so Zooey Deschanel's character is like...
Because that, like, the publishing aspect...
Yeah, the fact that the guy works in publishing and there's so much stuff in the mall, it's
the publishing stuff is very You've Got Mail, and that's 1997, I think.
Interesting. Oh, they could have been ahead of the curve. But I think it was originally going to star Chris Farley, and then didn't.
Yeah. Obviously, it didn't.
No. The production history on Elf seems like it was really interesting because it got written in 93 and then Jon Favreau picked it up to direct it, and he wanted it to be like less dark. Apparently originally was more like edgy. And so
I can see those other actors being better in an edgier role.
Yeah, in an edgier version. And so I think Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, who directed the worst movie ever, Don't Look Up, but also did all of the but before he did that, he did all of the like famous Will Ferrell movies. He did like Anchorman and Step Brothers and stuff, and he like co-wrote them. So Adam McKay and Will Ferrell, I think, did a bunch of punch-ups on Elf. So it's like kind of an interesting like hybrid weird little thing, because it doesn't feel like their other movies at all. Like but
at the same time, it doesn't strictly feel like a sort of generic film of that genre.
No, it's got its own little I think
you can tell it's made by people who knew what they were doing.
The Will Ferrell movie I think it's closest to is Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
I once watched this after not sleeping all night at a sleepover, and I cried and cried and cried and cried.
Okay. Do you want to say what the movie's about, or
does it really matter? It's about
okay.
It's about a guy who
got other stuff to talk about.
I mean, it's about a guy who realizes that he is in a book, and he's getting his life is being written.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was confused about that one and like the Secret Life of Walter Mitty and
yeah. It's but he but
that one about being really small.
The bit that made me cry is that he performs an extremely vulnerable solo rendition of Whole Wide World by Reckless Eric.
Okay.
As like the romantic climax of the film, he like sings it for this woman, and that made me cry a lot for some reason. I don't know if I Apparently it has a 73% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know if I would be up for a rewatch.
A rewatch. A reappraisal.
A reappraisal. But yeah, Elf is it's a film with a big heart.
Yeah, those are my top 2 recommendations if you want to watch a children's Christmas film. Elf, The Grinch. The Grinch is very cunty. It's like one of those. The Grinch is like one of those movies that you watch and you're like, oh, they'd never do this now.
Well, do you know?
It's too cool.
Did you see those things where it was like where Pop Crave was posting like the Grinch stuns?
Yes, I did see that.
What was? Do we find out what was going on with that?
I don't know. And everybody was like, "Why is the Grinch acting like he Halsey?" Yeah, I watched the Grinch last Christmas.
Yeah.
Last Christmas, I did a really ridiculous triple feature: Barbie, Parasite, and the Grinch.
Yeah, strong.
and Carol.
I think I might have watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre last Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
After The Apartment.
Christmas is so weird because you're like, oh, I should sure put something on. And everyone's messaging you being like, oh my God, Cody didn't like the set of golf balls. Because they were wrong. And Graham's mum is not talking to anyone because someone dropped the ambrosia. Or someone didn't bring the cream. Something shitty, something stupid like that. And you're like, oh, then someone's like, oh, guess what my mum got me? And it's just something that sucks. It's like a pair of shorts. That's what Christmas is all about.
Raz, do you have any other Christmas faves that you want to give a shout out to?
I haven't deeply looked into it, but I have two.
Just off the top of your head.
No, I wasn't finished the sentence.
Okay.
I have 2 Christmas non-faves.
Most hated Christmas movies.
Most hated Christmas movies. The Family Stone.
Okay.
And Christmas with the Kranks.
Okay.
We saw Christmas with the Kranks together.
That's interesting because I have absolutely zero. I would never have said that's a film I've watched.
Well, we watched it together in 2010 at your parents' house.
Christmas with the Kranks.
Yeah,
what is it,
and so
what is
it's
that
like,
a film about?
And I think I can't remember if it was at the time or if I'd seen it earlier and I'd had enjoyed it and then I rewatched it and was like, oh, this movie's horrible.
Yeah.
It's about a middle-aged couple. It is starring Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd. Also, Eric Sullivan is in it, the Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. And so Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis find out that their daughter, who's in her 20s, is not coming home for Christmas. So they decide to go on a cruise instead of doing a full-on Christmas. And their entire neighborhood deeply resents them for this.
Okay, I do. That movie was terrible.
And then they find out their daughter is coming home. And for some reason, she's like a giant baby about the whole thing. And she's like, oh, I can't wait to come home. She's in an impoverished area of the world doing Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just can't wait to smell the tree and have all the lights and have the honey baked ham and all this sort of stuff. And then her parents, for some reason, they aren't oh, we're actually going on a cruise. Or like, yes, you can come home. I know this wouldn't be a movie, but just like, you know, you can come home, but we don't have all that stuff sorted because we didn't know. You didn't tell us. Instead, they try and like make her the perfect Christmas. And they like have to enlist the help of their neighbors who they've all pissed off by not like participating in the like the Christmas decoration light stuff that people do in America. And then she has to like fight a woman for the ham and stuff, and it's just extremely entitled. And then her daughter is like engaged at the end. Their daughter's engaged at the end. And it just made like everyone in the movie sucks, and it's totally not just unrelatable but totally unenjoyable. And yeah, I guess like similar to The Family Stone is like, The Family Stone is about Sarah Jessica Parker like going to her boyfriend's family Christmas, but her boyfriend's family are like all hate her. And it's all these like, you know, upper middle class, like blonde American women.
Okay.
Who have a lot of rules about things, and she's like, I can't remember. I think she's like more free-spirited or something. Or maybe she's really uptight. I don't know. There's something like that. And then everyone hates her, and then they find out the mum is actually like dying.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. The mum is like Diane Keaton or something.
R.I.P. Mother Stone.
She didn't die.
Yeah, Mother Stone.
And then the Family Stone is the like diamond engagement ring that he like wants to get for her. But like they aren't actually getting on that well, and then she like brings, and then she's having like the sisters are like bullying her so much that she like gets her sister to like come to this land, no, it's like Connecticut or something, and then her boyfriend like falls in love with the sister instead, and then the mum dies.
Terrible.
Terrible, like just horrible. I don't want to see a movie that shows us the dynamics of rich American white families.
In that case, maybe you should think about watching Black Christmas, where a house full of college girls gets slowly murdered with a big knife.
Oh yeah, that's all right. For like Slumber Party Massacre.
Yes. It's from the 70s.
I was like,
so like
I thought you were going to say it's like a Chris Rock movie.
No, it's Slumber Party Massacre is like quintessentially 80s, whereas this is like it's the 70s, so there's a lot of people standing around in trench coats and a lot of like very upsetting first person shots, and like I think someone gets like wrapped up in cellophane or something at one point. It's quite fucked up, and it's actually it's like actually an all-time slasher movie, as well as being a Christmas movie. I don't have heaps on here because I didn't want to shout out like actual normal ones that people watch. Eyes Wide Shut, of course, is a classic.
Yeah, everybody knows Eyes Wide Shut.
Everyone knows. The Long Kiss Goodnight, I feel like, is an underrated action classic.
Okay, yeah, that's underrated.
But I just love Gina Davis. I'll watch anything with Gina Davis, and she's, I think, especially good. She really gets to like go all out in The Long Kiss Goodnight, where I think, if I recall correctly, she's like a sleeper agent. I don't know. She shoots a lot of people with a gun at Christmas.
I definitely think that fucking The Holdovers could be an all-time Christmas movie, because it only came out 1 year ago. I don't think it's time.
It's not time.
Like, if you haven't watched it yet, watch it.
This Christmas.
If you watched it last year, then you don't need to watch it this Christmas. You can watch it next Christmas. Happiest Season, the lesbian one, that sucks, because it's like it's one of those movies that
it does suck, but I also loved it. Like, I recognize that it's bad, and I also didn't enjoy the ending, but I did also love it.
It is stuck in that. It's stuck in that era of like gay movies being sort of focused on someone being out or not out.
Yeah, which is slightly anachronistic.
Yeah, by that time it was anachronistic.
Maybe it's back. Could be back.
Oh my god.
Could be back.
Four Christmases. Have you seen that? That one's all right. I
don't know what that is.
It's Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn. They hate their family, so that's quite good. They hate their families and they don't want to spend Christmas with them. But then there's some sort of storm and all the flights get cancelled and they get caught on the like national news like at the airport in their like summer outfits and stuff. And so all their family know that they are available and then they have to like go see them. Gremlins, that's good.
Yeah,
Bad
Gremlins
Santa,
is good.
Absolutely desperate to see that when I was 12, but I never ended up seeing it actually.
I've got
Love
two...
Actually, very controversial.
I know that it's no longer...
Just chill out.
I know that So Bad It's Good is not a thing that people like to say anymore.
Mm.
And I do actually think that a lot of movies that people say are so bad it's good are actually just good. But I do have two very bad movies that I think are worth watching on my Christmas list. One is Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh, of course. But I mean, like, yeah, that's
people don't know about
Santa. So Bad It's Good.
People don't know about that though, Rez. I know for you and me it's old hat to watch Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. But other people don't know about... They might not have even seen Plan 9 from Outer Space. But
they've read a list.
Oh, maybe. But the list might not have even had Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Because it's so, like, number 5. It's, like, the 5th worst movie ever. But you got to see it. It's got a really amazing song in it. And it's just totally bizarre. I'm not going to sing it. Are you going to sing it?
If you haven't seen A Wonderful Life...
I haven't.
What?
No.
Yeah, if you, including Amelia, haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, the classic Christmas movie, then I would recommend seeing that. It is really good. It does hold up.
Oh, it's Hooray for Santa Claus. Do you remember it now?
No, I don't remember properly. I think I would know it if I heard it, which I guess you're going to play it in the edit, but I won't be able to hear that. No.
For Santa Claus. The other really bad... Sorry, I'm going to include a recording there probably. The other really bad Christmas movie is Hulk Hogan vehicle Santa with Muscles from 1986.
Oh, yeah.
Which
I've probably seen part of that.
Yeah, it's a real mess of an action movie. But it's a lot of fun, I think. Raz, do you want to talk us through the movies that are going to come out before our next pod is recorded?
I thought we could say what our favourite Christmas songs were.
Oh, but I'm so tired.
Just quickly. First, favourite Christmas carols, and then favourite Christmas songs. My favourite Christmas... Sorry.
I like O Come All Ye Faithful and O Holy Night. And also special shout out to Oh Christmas Tree, the only Christmas song my grandma liked because it's to the same tune as The Red Flag, the socialist song.
I like Oh Holy Night.
Strong.
And I like King Wenceslas.
Yeah.
And I like We Three Kings.
You like We Three Kings?
Yeah. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel so far. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Did you not sing that at school?
Yeah, but it's such a dirge. I'm not questioning whether the song exists.
Yeah, but what if
I'm questioning why it's a
voice? It's a great song.
Some of us are a baritone. Sorry.
Born and yeah, I always liked that one. And it was quite fun because it is one of those songs where people come in too early. in the next verse where everyone's like, born, and no, it's too soon. Christmas song.
Well, obviously the entirety of Phil Spector's Christmas album is pretty good.
I like Christmas Baby, Please Come Home.
Yeah.
And Santa Baby.
Yeah.
I have a Christmas song that I hate so much that
Christmas is not a time for hate, Raz.
Yeah, okay, but I have one song that I just hate so much that I feel like if I hear it if I hear it before Christmas Day, then something bad will happen to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's the Pogues.
Oh yeah, I hate that one as well. I used to do the Christmas morning breakfast show on BFM for a few years. So I actually have quite deep and strong feelings about Christmas music. And I've got a playlist here of 107 of my favorite Christmas songs.
Whoa.
Sentimental Around Christmas and Waiting for You at Christmas Time are songs by David Friesen and Jeannie Hoffman that I think are really beautiful if you want a bit of an alternative Christmas vibe. I really like Kimmy and Ritz, Merry Christmas Baby, which is by Richard, what's his name, who did Rocky Horror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before Richard O'Brien. Before he did Rocky Horror, he tried to do some music stuff, and one of them was a project called Kimmy and Ritz. Yeah, and they do a kind of 70s, like, Roxy Music-ish Christmas song called Merry Christmas Baby that I really like. I like the Waitresses song about Christmas. What is that called? Christmas rapping? Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah, you do like that song.
This one this year.
I like Mary's Boy Child. Boney.
That's a good one. There's a lot of funk Christmas songs that are really good. There's one sung by a child called Santa Claus is a Black Man that it really rips. I think if you want, if you want a bit of that. Modern Christmas songs.
Yeah, I was just looking at the list. I had
100 Geeks did a pretty good Christmas song a few years ago.
I was just looking for my Christmas playlist. I know that I had a Christmas playlist because one time when I was going out with someone, their family was like, "Oh, Rebecca, you put on Christmas playlist. That would be so nice, thank you." And then I did, and we listened to like 1.5 songs, and then that person's mum said, "We're not having any of this," and put on Michael Bublé.
Damn.
And then it was just terrible. Sort of like, her one was bad, so.
I've got to say, I think actually even more than Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector, maybe my absolute favorite Christmas pop song is Holiday Hymn by Orange Juice.
And how does that go for the people?
Sing a holiday hymn. It's a bit like that.
That's good. That's what people want to hear, I think.
I'll cut some of it in over that.
No. Okay. I thought you were going to cut it out. Put it in. Put more singing in.
I'll put a bit of the song after that. Maybe we should link the people my weird Christmas playlist.
Absolutely. People will want that. You know, a lot of our listeners might be over 30. They're not getting pushed around by someone's mom.
No, they want to listen to Isabel Antenna's Noel a Hawaii, and then they want to listen to 15 doo-wop songs called Christmas, my friend.
I think both of us like Christmas on Christmas Island, but
yes,
was it your sister's favorite or something?
Yes, it's my sister's favorite. There's some
problematic.
There's some really good beatnik Christmas songs that I've got on this list. Yeah. I Was a Teenage Reindeer, Beatnik's Wish, Yulesville. Oh, we love Christmas.
The bad thing about Christmas Island is the Australian detention centres.
Material with Nona Hendrix. It's a holiday. It's a good song. Oh, I just love Christmas music so much.
Yeah, and you didn't even want to talk about it. You're like, no, you don't need to.
I'm so tired, Raz. I just want to know about what films are coming out on the 26th of December.
Okay, this is in New Zealand. International listeners, I'm sorry, I don't know. I assume that in some countries these will come out on similar dates. Some countries
Although
they all
in
come
America,
out
I think they all came out a month ago.
They all came out like 6 months ago, and everyone's like, now it's on digital. I feel free to say that the ending of this movie was so bad, and it's linked here. Okay, so 26th of December, Boxing Day. Imagine yourself watching one of these films. Anora. All we imagine is light. A Real Pain, Better Man, the Monkey Robbie Williams movie.
Okay.
1st of January, New Year's Day. Maybe you went out last night, maybe you didn't. Nosferatu.
Hell yeah.
The Room Next Door.
Okay.
You love Pedro.
Yes. Hell yeah.
His first English language, Pedro Almodovar's first English language movie, The Room Next Door, starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore.
Hell yeah.
And Paddington in Peru.
I've seen it.
Amelia already saw it in a dog's screen.
Yeah, we can talk about that more next time.
Okay.
Do you want a pocket review? Like a one-sentence review?
Yeah.
A pale imitation of Paddington 2. But still pretty good and a lot better than most other children's movies ever.
Okay. 9th of January, finally, Conclave hits New Zealand cinemas.
Banging out that clave. Can't wait.
16th of January, my mum's birthday. Amelia Perez.
Special present for her.
Amelia already saw it.
Do you want another pocket review?
Yeah.
Perhaps the most tasteless film I've ever seen. A film about issues made by someone who's maybe even never tied their own shoelaces. Goes all the way back around to somehow being quite impressive.
Okay. And the thing about that, it has a French director, right?
It's so French. I feel really bad for the people of Mexico for having, like, you know.
People are just like, is a Mexican person whose first language is English even Mexican? That's like the only discourse people can sort of bring themselves to have.
Yeah, I saw a thread that was like why the people of Mexico hate Emilia Perez, which I'd already read a little bit about. So I kind of knew what to expect in the thread. Point one was like it's like a patronizing and childish look at the issue of gangs, and I was like, yeah, that's true, it is that. And then tweets like 3 through 12 were all like, I hate Selena Gomez.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you could watch Amores Perros if you want to watch a movie more about Mexican street culture.
If you want to watch like a movie that's halfway between Glen or Glenda and A Touch of Evil, then watch Amelia Perez.
Okay, 23rd of January. We're coming up to Auckland anniversary. It's the hottest time of the year. And you could be in the cinema watching the Bob Dylan movie starring Timothée Chalamet and Elle Fanning as Joan Baez, I think. A complete unknown.
No, Elle Fanning, I think, is someone else, right?
I don't know because the movie hasn't come out.
No, because I know there was controversy.
Oh, she's his girlfriend.
She's Sylvie Russo. Monica Barbaro is Joan Baez.
Oh, and there was
race-based controversy about it.
Oh my god. Okay. The Weepy from Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, We Live in Time. I will not be seeing that. And The Brutalist starring Adrian Brody, has some Oscar buzz. Apparently the director is problematic, but kind of all of them are. And that's it. That's January. That's my January preview.
We'll see you then. In the meantime, we've been Cinema Bing Bong. I've been Amelia, joined by Rebecca. You can follow us on Instagram at Cinema Bing Bong, where we've started responding to DMs in the form of stories. So I don't know if hopefully that's hopefully that's working for people. So if we don't answer your DM, we might have done a 3-part story about it.
People always like it when I post you, but they don't like it when I post myself.
Well, I've got a special kind of charisma. You can also email. Oh, I never check the email. Don't email.
Yeah, are there any emails? Maybe you can contact Amelia by email, but maybe you can't.
Give it a shot. I reckon. Give it a good shot.
Probably Instagram is going to be.
Also, it would. There's not an advertisement of any kind to promote this podcast. There's not a way for us to spread it ourselves, apart from by you, the wonderful listener. If you know someone who you think would get a kick out of hearing us talk shit mostly about movies for 2 hours at a time once a month,
usually 2 hours.
Tell them to check out Cinema Bing Bong. Tell them to listen, and maybe give us a rating and a review on your podcast platform of mainly iTunes is the one that counts.
Yeah,
that would be so good.
I pay like $20 a month,
and we get it. Look, we get the $20 back in love. We do. But
we get the $20 back in like 2 DMs and 1 like.
Raz, I've got us a Christmas themed question to end on. Which actor should play Jesus next? And what's the basic premise of that film?
What's the film is so funny.
Why?
Just the phrasing and what's the film?
Not every film is the Passion of the Christ. Some of them are the Last Temptation of Christ. Or sometimes it's Jesus Christ Superstar, which is very different.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've only read the Old Testament.
What? What? Raz, most people haven't read any of the Bible.
Well, I've read the Old Testament.
A lot of Christians haven't read the Old Testament. No shade. No shade to Christians.
I used to be forced to going to church.
And you only read the Old Testament.
And so I just sat there with my Bible and I read it from the beginning.
Okay.
But then this only went on for like a couple of years.
Okay.
I was about 7 years old. So I just sat there and read the Old Testament. So I don't really know that much about what Jesus got up to enough to sort of create the premise of a film if it's going to be based on the report.
Well, it doesn't have to be based on the Bible, does it?
Yeah, I suppose when I was saying that, I was like, oh, I guess Amelia would think that it could just be anything.
What do you mean Amelia would think that? What does that mean?
Because I'm stuck. I'm a professional social realist.
Okay. Oh, yeah, true. No, not me.
I never think of anything that's not real.
Well, there's only a very small part of his life is captured in the Bible.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so hard. I don't want to be like, Loaves and Fishes, because that's what I've heard of.
Loaves and Fishes would be a sick movie, though.
Oh, how about...
They're hanging out at the beach. They're eating fish. They're having a yarn. There's loads of people there.
How about The Moneylenders?
You're doing a whole movie about...
It's like, it could be like a heist movie. And I want him to be Rami Malek.
Okay. Cool. That sounds good.
And I want Kieran Culkin to be in it.
Okay.
Maybe we can bring back Paul Mescal as a North African.
Hell yeah.
Dev Patel, he can be in it.
I was going to say, in my movie, Dev Patel is Jesus.
Yeah, I thought that Dev Patel was the obvious choice for Jesus, so I didn't say it.
He'd be such a good Jesus. And I think he comes back to 1972, like the Hammer horror film Dracula AD 1972.
Yeah.
He comes back from the dead to spread his message of love, but he finds the hippie dream has gone sour, and it's like a commentary on like the baby boomer generation.
Okay. We know what Jesus movie I would not like to see. Jesus coming back to something really awful. Jesus coming back to 2011 maybe?
If Jesus came back right now, Raz, what do you think he'd say to us two specifically?
Keep on rocking.
Hell yeah, Jesus.